Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Telling Tales. Here we tell atmospheric stories together through the medium of tabletop role-playing games. It is Monday night, and we are back playing Masks of Nyarlathotep with 7th edition Call of Cthulhu. We are excited to get back to it, and I hope everybody has had a nice festive break. We will do a little recap shortly, but firstly, promo things. So below the stream are links to our other streaming sites, our social media, our Discord, which you can join and come and chat with us and other people who are involved in the channel and who enjoy the channel, and our Patreon, where if you enjoy what we do, you can support us there. Also worth noting that progress is being made on the 5th anniversary video. More news on that and a release date soon, but it's coming along very nicely. Lots of hard work gone into that. Recap. So I think it's been 3 weeks since we last played. So the group are in England, having been to Peru and New York, and made a friend who then was brutally killed by a cult, which the group handily disarmed, and then have moved on to England and found themselves potentially, I don't want to say anything as a fact, embroiled in some further cult activity. There have been a number of murders in London, which have been termed the Egyptian murders due to the fact that, barring two, everyone who has been killed is of Egyptian descent. And the group are kind of investigating. This is following along the path that their friend Jackson Elias, who was killed, kind of followed, tracing back the Carlisle expedition in reverse order. There have been some slip-ups by the group involving being covered in coal and waving at a potential baddie, and other such comical things, which we won't be having any more of that this year. It's full full serious. That's probably not true. Anyway, the end of the previous session, a woman, Zara Shafik, who runs a spice shop and who has been sort of accused to the investigators of being quite heavily involved in the cult activity, seems to have located the investigators and has issued an invitation to come and visit her at the shop. So I'll go from left to right on my screen. So first I'll bring on Steve, who plays Edwin Price. Hey, Steve.
Hey, Jonny. I'm a bit disappointed that you said the group's been slipping up, because I thought you were supposed to be like an impartial referee. I mean, we have been, but
it's a factual observation. There is no bias involved.
That is fair.
How is Edwin feeling about the fact that you seem to have been located in a library?
Very disappointed and upset, because Edwin had tried to stay out of being directly observed by Zara Shafik. Now, obviously, prior to our suspicions that Miss Shafik was involved in the cult and the owner of the Blue Pyramid Club, it turns out, we'd handed over all of our details. We paid a princely sum for membership at this club and given her all of our contact information, which is, in hindsight, a bit of a, we should probably not do that in future. That's item 2 of the things not to do when investigating a cult. Edwin's starting to keep a notebook, I think, on tips and tricks.
What was item 1? What was number 1?
Don't trust that people in apartments aren't in league with the evil people.
I did think that you were just going to stop at don't there.
Don't. Again, that's fair.
Tips and tricks for investigating cults. Don't. Yes. Okay, great. Thanks, Steve. Justin, who plays Mr. Farwell. Hey, Justin.
That's me.
You had been and spotted. Well, you'd been to sort of scope out your house as well, hadn't you? In case somebody had been there and broken in or what have you.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I'm natural. Yes. We were having a carriage ride by the house, as you do, and we just slowed down a bit and checked to make sure the door hadn't been kicked in, which it hadn't. But there was somebody standing outside the house, who, when we went round the corner and then decided to poke our heads back round to see if they were still there, they had disappeared, that was, you know, that was unusual and unexpected, and we thought we'd been pretty sneaky. So I don't know how that had happened. I don't really know why that happened. I don't know. I don't like any of these things, and I'm gonna have to move. You know? It's very inconvenient. It's very inconvenient, really. Egypt's good this time of year, I hear. If I move to Egypt, I just move myself. What I'll do for now is just sell the house and buy a new house next to where we're investigating, give them the address, and then sell the house, move again. Yeah. And I think we can get homes on like 6 or 7 continents that way.
I also think you'd probably be able to sort of make a good amount of money on the house, because anytime somebody went to view it, they'd be like, wow, there's like 50 people all keeping an eye on this house. It must be a really good location that people want to live.
Really good neighborhood watch.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks, Justin.
That's me.
Yeah. Sam, who plays Mrs. Farwell. Hey, Sam.
Hello.
Yeah. How's Mrs. Farwell feeling about everything at the moment?
I mean, I don't like the objective judgment of the world that we are slipping up. That's not very satisfying, is it? Apparently, it's just like an omen living over us in this situation. I was going to say, Steve, if it was subjective, it would have been better, really, wouldn't it? You know, if Jonny just thinks, oh, we're failing, but objective, that's... I don't like that.
There've just been 2 reasonably comical situations that you have found yourselves in.
I mean, Jonny could be running a parallel campaign of this with another group, and we could just be really awful compared to them.
I would like to point out
New Zealand or something.
Yeah, exactly. I would like to point. I as a player, I think, wasn't present for the actual thing that set up either of those scenarios. So, apparently, don't play without me is the rule of thumb you should have here. So yeah, I've come back to find. Obviously, Mrs. Farwell was there the whole time, but she was a bit out of it, and now she's come back to find everything's a mess, and now we're being contacted by the very person we thought was perhaps the head of this cult. So, you know, maybe in some way a little reassured by that, because it's not the most evil behavior that they could have done. If they knew that much about us, we could be dead already. So, you know, there's that.
Cool. Thanks, Sam. John, who plays Merritt Barton. Hey, John.
Hi, Jonny.
Yeah, how's Merritt feeling after a morning in the Penhew Foundation and then a library letter? I don't know what I'm saying.
That's a lot more his natural environment than, say, following someone through the streets of London and then sneaking into a ballroom to see who they're speaking to without being noticed. Just as an example off the top of my head, I think he's probably a lot more comfortable, a lot more comfortable with the library use. But he is choosing to, and by he I mean me, and I'm desperately coping here, hoping to see this as a positive as we are progressing the case, and now other people who are good at talking to people can do talking to people, and leave the people who are bad at sneaking around not having to sneak around.
Good. Thanks, John. And finally, Jack, who plays Ted. Hey, Jack. What's Ted think about all this? I can't hear you, Jack.
Amazing. This
A
is new
secret
tactic.
third mute.
Stoic.
Mm.
Ted is, yeah, exactly, stoic, silent.
I think we can play the whole game like this.
But at least if Ted's tortured for information, they'll have a job getting anything out of him.
How's that?
Oh no.
Better.
Yes.
Tell us what you know. I'm sorry, I can't unmute.
Okay, maybe slipping up is accurate after that. I was going to have a go at you for that, but okay. No, I think, look, it's fine. We're getting to the heart of it now. We wanted to see what was going on, and we all know good villains monologue. So they will monologue, and nobody's died yet. So as far as Call of Cthulhu goes, I think we're doing well.
I would like to point out that getting to the heart of it is what the murderers did to their victims in this particular case. They were all...
I don't know why Edwin's scared. We all know Edwin is secretly a secret agent or something. I think we already established that he's the main character.
I'm trying to keep
throwing
my
people
cover. I can't just...
out of windows. That'll be the kicker if we have to meet in like a basement or something, and Edwin's like, I can't do anything. There's no windows to throw them out of.
Ironically, the kicker is Edwin's nickname.
Oh, Edwin the Kicker Price. There we go. We've got to change it now.
You'll all be terribly disappointed when the truth comes out.
There's a kick stat now in Call of Cthulhu, and Edwin just got it.
So yeah,
Okay.
we're all excited.
So yeah, early afternoon in the library, the British Library, I think, the big old British Library, and yeah, you've kind of just read this letter.
I know for people watching who go from episode to episode, they will have just had the letter happen. But could we go over what the letter said again? Because I can't remember if there were details or just we should meet in it.
I think Steve might have it literally written down.
I do. It said, Sirs and Madam, I suppose it's time we meet again. Come to the shop anytime, ZS.
Oh, okay.
So it could not be Zara Shafik.
Yes.
I mean, we know the shop is easy to break into, so it could be anyone.
It doesn't even specify the shop.
It's the person who was asleep on that upright bed frame before you knocked it over. That's not true. Anyway, sorry. Yes, that's what the letter said.
Okay, so assuming we've literally just read the letter, I think Mrs. Farwell is sat there wide-eyed for at least a moment, looking contemplative and scared.
I think the first concern is how on earth she knew we were here today at this moment.
I'm guessing they're following us then, or tailing at least one of us and reported back.
Has anybody
think our ruse about moving location didn't work very well?
Well, either that or we're more well known than we'd like to think. She can't have eyes everywhere, surely. I mean, regardless, that doesn't address what we should do now. I mean, why on earth would we go and put ourselves in danger by going to her shop? And
well, I agree. We're all here, aren't we, Jonny? Yeah.
Yep.
I'm not just butting into a scene that I'm not part of.
Oh, Wilfred, when did you get here?
Yeah, like yes, he always does that, doesn't he? Like,
I thought you were in Yorkshire investigating
yeah,
that other mystery.
turns up. Anyway, never mind. It's Derbyshire, and yeah, I think that putting it off. I don't know how much we gain by putting it off either. I think that it's a conversation that should happen without too much undue delay. But maybe we don't all have to go. Or maybe we don't all have to go inside, or maybe I don't know. Maybe there's ways of doing this.
I think at the very least we let someone outside of this party that we trust know where we're going and when. At the very least, maybe the police would be a good idea if we can at least take it seriously.
I mean, do we trust? I mean, if we question everything we know about the case, if Sharif is not at the heart of this, then maybe the police are. It seems like those two groups are. I don't know if they're. I don't know.
Regardless of who we think is to blame, I think to me there are only two choices, and one is to cease investigating this occurrence entirely, and the other is to go and meet with Miss Shafik. Because if we truly don't want to go and meet with her, then we must assume that her intentions are entirely bad, evil, or wish harm upon us. And given we now find ourselves in a situation where she apparently knows our exact location and has the ability to send us a letter, at the moment we've only been here, 3-4 hours, then we presume she would have the power to do whatever else she wanted to us, so we would be forced to flee for our own safety. And so I'm inclined to hope, I suppose, that she has not reached out with entirely malicious intent, and continue this investigation and go and meet with her. Probably with some sort of safety net, as you put it, having someone know we're there or not having us all go inside. I don't know, but I certainly don't feel like fleeing immediately upon reading this letter.
No, I agree. I think we've got to meet her. Like, if she's as dangerous as we think she could be, and she knows exactly where we are, if she wants us attacked, at the very least, that could have just happened. They could have just, we walk around dark alleyways at night fairly often at this point.
I mean, it still might happen, Mr. Hobbs.
And it's not. She knows where we are, but we know where she is too. It's not like we have to have this conversation on her terms either.
On Mr. Price's point, though, as well, that potentially she could do something more terrible than this. If we do think potentially she is still in charge of all of this awfulness, then if we don't flee the city, arguably the safest thing we can do is go and meet with her. Because if we don't take her up on this offer and she has the power to do much worse things, presumably she would do those things.
I think we may also be moving past the alternative possibility, which is that we have only had one person testify that they believe Miss Shafik may be behind all this.
That's true. We're just assuming she's a ringleader, that she might only be on the fringes of it, or
So how would you, through meeting and talking to her, how would you determine that she either was or wasn't?
I'm not sure you could, but even if we were to go question her and she'd lie about everything she said, if we approached it with the possibility that she may be lying about everything, doesn't that also give us more information in a way?
Precisely, there's no
Ultimately,
better way
we have a person of interest who is interested in speaking to us about our investigation, which we are investigating.
My concern
There's
is
no
that,
better way
that she will have prepared for this meeting impeccably, and either she will have a story entirely worked out, or she will do something nefarious. Remember, these are cultists that we are investigating, and we know from our experiences in New York that their methods can sometimes go beyond what one would consider to be natural.
Then would it not be better to go to a meeting that we can also prepare for, as opposed to, as people have said, meet them in a dark alley?
Precisely.
Oh, I wouldn't propose meeting them in a dark alley. No, I would propose meeting them in a public space in broad
I
daylight.
think the point Mr. Barton was saying is if we don't meet them now, they're going to meet us in a dark alley sooner rather than later.
And not
Presuming
necessarily as a group.
she is in charge of this evil cult, which is the worst case scenario.
I'm still not certain how this is anything other than springing the trap early by walking into it.
In a
I
sense,
mean, we
it
might
may
not,
be.
we might know what we're doing in that case, but I'm not sure it benefits us.
In a sense, it may be, but I would ask you this, Mr. Price. Do you think the whole of the city is potentially a trap for us now? I certainly don't think we can necessarily ensure her own safety at this point, not while continuing any sort of investigation here. I mean, look, she's found us right here.
Which gives you some idea as to her resources and resourcefulness. I don't have an answer. I'm sorry. I just
Even if we this is the worst case scenario we're talking about, but to be honest, her behavior, sending a letter, it doesn't seem to me as if she is the ringleader of this cult. I know they can work in all sorts of mysterious ways, and perhaps they would want to be drawing us in for some terrible ritual or some such, but to write a letter to us inviting us, it strikes me more as someone who does want a conversation, whether for good or for ill, rather than someone who wants just to see us dead or be destroyed in some hideous manner.
Yeah, I go back to my previous point. If I think if we're saying, worst case scenario, we go there and it's an ambush. Well, she's given us forewarning, and presumably, maybe she thinks we're stupider than we are. But she's given us enough opportunity to say to other people, like I said, where we're going to be. If we suddenly disappear, she knows that will put a target on her even more so. Whereas if they wanted us dead, they could have got us at any point, and we look like just either. Well, we won't even look like any of these parts, these string of murders, because as far as I'm aware, none of us are Egyptian. We just, another handful of people that have fell through the cracks, or mugging gone wrong, or anything. It's they if they were going to kill us, inviting us to her shop to do it seems like the worst way to do it.
Jonny, how much can I remember and what can I remember about the incident in Peru where Edwin was mind controlled?
It's very much flashes, like the memories of a dream, and they've kind of come back a little bit afterwards.
Sure.
So at the time that you came around, I think as far as Edwin was concerned, you were almost in one position, then in another position. with this kind of knowledge that something had happened.
And I
And
can't
then you-
remember the action of being like the moment that I was basically the moment the
Enthralled.
spell was cast. Yes.
No.
I just remember doing things that were absolutely against character.
Yeah.
I would just... I don't like to remember it, but my experiences in Peru were strange and unpleasant, and, well, I believe it's entirely possible to coerce people into doing things they would otherwise not do. So, if we all go into the shop, and if, say, Miss Shafik shares those powers and commands us all to jump into the Thames, or kill each other, or commit crimes, or how... I don't think it's as simple as them jumping out with a knife. I think there are more insidious and less observable things that could happen in that shop.
I think that is sensible. In which case, what can we do to try and alleviate some of that threat?
Jonny, is it possible to do a roll on occult, or I suppose Cthulhu Mythos, to assess how hard it would be to entirely enthrall a group of 6 people who walk into a shop like that so that they're under someone's control? Do I think that's something that would be doable, like Edwin described? That sounds like a Cthulhu Mythos roll more than anything, doesn't it?
I'm not sure we know enough at this point.
No, I mean, I have very low stats, and kind of low stats in both. Occult's a bit higher, but
I mean, I suppose Miss Winifred has some knowledge
I
of
have
how
read
to
books about
raise
it,
a
and
creature
I've
from
been
the
interested in
dead.
this. That's why I was thinking. I
Yeah.
haven't
Mrs.
spelled.
Farwell is definitely the best place to make this kind of role.
My instinct is, I feel like Mrs. Farwell would say she knows that from what she knows of spells, they take quite a lot of work and time, and it seems like to get 6 people would be a very difficult thing to do. all of
Give me a
sudden. And
roll
I'm trying
on
to judge
either,
whether I can
Sam.
do that.
Tell
Okay,
me
I'll do it.
which you're rolling on, and tell me
Oh.
what.
Very unlikely to succeed on Cthulhu. I've still only got 7 in Cthulhu Mythos.
Only 7.
25. Yeah. Do you have higher than me, don't you, Steve?
I don't think so.
Someone, is it Justin? Someone who has higher than me. Yeah.
I have
John.
8.
John.
You have 8 and my...
I went
I think from that
Crazy
little
twice,
special
I think.
moment in
yeah.
in
Yikes.
Erica
Justin's
Carlisle's
right.
house.
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to roll on occult because I think it's just, I'm not going to succeed.
No wonder you're so blasé about all of this. You're half in bed with them already.
Is 0 is 3 zeros 100 or a 0?
That's 100. Yep.
Damn.
Hey, that's good, right?
I don't succeed.
100
Oh,
is
no.
the highest number.
Oh no.
Yeah, 1 to 1.
With absolute
Yeah,
confidence,
so,
Mrs. Farwell says this
I
is
have some-
impossible.
Spellcasting is impossible. It doesn't exist.
Or maybe am I really afraid that it's very possible from that, Jonny? Maybe.
I think you just literally can't make a decision either way.
Okay, that's fine.
Like
I
you,
will-
you don't
I
even
will-
have you are almost paralyzed by indecision on whether it would be really easily possible or not possible at all.
Got it. Okay, I will. Yeah, I don't say a thing about it.
I think it's a pretty big leap to go from mind controlling all of us, really, or to mind controlling all of us. I don't see it happening, but look, if we're saying we don't want to go in as a whole group and we want someone on the outside, then Mr. Price, I would not hold it against you if you'd rather avoid going in the shop.
it sounds like unsurprisingly, Ted and Will both go in without any further questions, which is my position. Which is my
Ted's
position.
getting his coat on.
When
Like we're already in. Like we've gone.
Oh my god!
We're like, when
Like,
I mean, there is.
we still got coal dust on us.
I was going to say, like, at least you know the lie of the land. You know.
if you two voice that, I will be nodding and saying I'm definitely going to go in as well. Assuming we decide we are going to go for this week.
I think there are sensible things that we could do beforehand. I do want to go. I don't necessarily want to go right now. I don't think there's any reason for us to go as soon as we're summoned. Like, you know, at least play coy. Like, you know, don't be
Play hard to get.
play hard to get. You know,
fashionably late.
I've got an appointment. You can't just ask me to come turn up somewhere and expect me to be. You know, again, they all. You know, like we need to. You know, I come back to it, but like.
We have
We need to look employed. Like, you know, we can't just look. You know, we don't look professional if we could just turn up somewhere without any problems. Not all these things are things that Wilfred's saying, but broadly, yeah. Happy to go. Probably not go immediately, but yeah, like I'm also happy to bump into her on the street and ask her what's going on, and I think that is a perfectly reasonable way of doing this.
I would ask this in character to my husband, but it's kind of via Jonny. So I will say to Wilfred, Wilfred, darling, I wonder if it's possible to hire, well, private security or something who could, you know, assist those who wait outside and provide a bit more aid.
What are you
saying?
saying?
To go wrong. Just a few, you know.
But what more private security do you need?
Intimidating looking men.
Just a couple of heavies.
No offense, Wilfred.
Wow.
Did we hire a PI?
Yes.
We did.
Yeah, he's currently on the case.
He's not the person that's come to us to hand the letter over. It's like,
we're turning this into an idle game, so if we just step away for long enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, when are we expecting the first packet of information from Mr. Thomas Gray?
I think you've literally hired him this morning.
Yeah,
so
get on it, Thomas.
Maybe sometime.
God. Can we get him to deliver a letter to them? Say, can we? Yeah, not right now, but we'll meet you later.
I think there is a service for that. It's called the postal service.
If we find out she's nothing to do with it, we've just like said exactly the moment she's like, we should meet me up and clear this up.
Maybe she just wants to discuss the spices she bought.
I mean, so Edwin's position is yes, we shouldn't all go in. Edwin regrets. So in Peru, like Edwin was very clear that we should at least we shouldn't go off on our own. Everybody needs to kind of stay with somebody. When Edwin broke that rule to look after what's his face on his own outside the tomb, it went horribly wrong. So we should, I don't know how you end up ensuring that somebody hasn't been, compromised spell-wise afterwards. But at least if we keep an eye on each other, we might be better placed to spot changes in behavior or
Read. It makes sense at least to keep an eye on these things. I don't think we have much more to go on at this point.
Has Corporal Shane been accompanying us in London? Or has he been conveniently... All right. As far as we know, is he based in London?
Yeah.
I propose that perhaps... I think that Corporal Shane could be a useful a point of contact, a check-in. It's to say to him that if he doesn't hear back from us after the meeting, we'll say we leave all of our notes with him before. Don't read them. You don't want to be involved. But if you don't hear from us, go to the police. if we don't want to involve Corporal Shane, I could also ask the same of Dominic, but I don't want to put too much pressure on the young lad.
No, that sounds like a sensible idea.
So we all drop notes to our next characters.
Yeah, that's kind of, yeah.
Oh gosh. Well, I feel like the decision has been made between us then that we're going to go to meet with Miss Shafik. So what else do we want to do beforehand?
I will go call Corporal Shane to see if he is happy to be our emergency contact. He's maybe otherwise engaged after all. Perhaps deciding if some of us want to stay outside and whether we should look to employ some assistance for that. I leave in other people's more capable hands. But it might not be a bad idea.
What do you think, Wilfred? Do you want to look into that, or is it a silly idea?
I don't think we're at the stage where we're hiring muscle. I think like I think that we can be at a stage where a few of us can go into a shop, and that's okay.
Okay.
We can go in. We can go in at a time of our choosing. We can go in when it's busy with customers. We can go in. We can go in whenever we want.
When would the busiest time of day be in that market, Johnny? If that does sound like a sensible idea. If we know the market.
Johnny, tell me the footfall patterns for Soho.
You could just say sometime and I'll believe it.
It's Soho, so surely you guys should know.
Yeah, we know the busiest time of day. The busiest time of day is 11:30. We've been living in this place for years.
Yeah, is this for into the shop? You mean?
Yeah,
That's where she invited us to, isn't it?
Yeah, the Shop
Yeah.
of Doom, that one.
Yeah.
A lot of people, mill around on their lunch breaks. So people at work nearby may be running in to pick things up for the evening's dinner. It is a Friday, I believe. So equally, people might be picking things up for the weekend. So yeah, probably around lunchtime, which you're now slightly past. But again, there's probably a little bit of a because what time is her shop open till? Let me just double check this.
We have opening hours.
I thought it was it 5 p.m. or something? I do recall
Yes,
you
it
mentioning
is.
it.
Yep, Monday through Saturday. So she is open again tomorrow. So yeah, sort of towards the end of the day, if people have managed to knock off early for Friday, they might be popping in as well. Like the current time, there's probably a bit of a mid-afternoon lull, and it may pick up again a little bit before the very end of the day.
I know we say we don't want to rush straight there, but I don't see very much point in lingering. It's quite evident, to be perfectly frank, that we've been following her with great interest. I don't think she'll much believe our sudden urge to not visit for a few days. Given the invitation. So we could go today. If there is nothing else we need to do to prepare.
how many bullets have I got for my gun?
I assume he's just carrying it around all the time now, anyway.
Yeah, I mean, why not?
Yeah.
I looked into it.
Mrs. Farwell, I don't suppose you have any knowledge of anything that one might use as a defense against magic?
Should I make another roll, Johnny, or does my 100 from earlier still follow through to this defense against magic question? This feels like an occult, but I did roll one.
Yeah, you can roll again. It's a separate thing.
Oh no, that's a bit too much to use my luck. I'm sorry. There's a few tales and such, but I don't think anything will really help us much. I think our best bet is vigilance, to be honest, and just caution.
That'll be no problem for us then.
I certainly wouldn't expect anything to be like that of a gun, like fast or deadly to the moment. It's more like what you said, Mr. Price. The like to influence our minds or something.
Yeah, so I was about to say I really wish we knew more of this subject, but really that honestly I can't claim that either. So
I'm going to have a look around at the library around us and then stand up and then go and find the section on mesmerism.
ooh. Edwin was certainly thinking of checking out the library whilst we're here. But, good call.
Johnny, I'd like to look around the library for like human skin bound tomes, please.
Why didn't you say so?
I don't
for the whole section.
They probably don't keep those on the main floor.
Does a Dewey Decimal System organise by binding skin type?
John, make me a library use roll, please.
Oh, I haven't decided which dice I'm using yet.
Oh no.
These ones, 30, which is a hard success.
Excellent.
Okay, so yeah, in the typical sort of pseudo-scientific understanding of mesmerism, you think that it would either take some time. So this is non-magical. It would take some time while you were there, or there would have had to have been some previous setup which you may have forgotten about. If it had been done, it's possible that you wouldn't remember it. So one of those two things would have to take place. So if you walked in and it was to be immediate, it would have to be because there had been some setup previously. Nice. Which you obviously don't think has happened.
None of us have gone to any sort of music hall shows that we can't remember, have we?
How do I answer that question?
All right, I'll share this with the group in a reassuring tone of voice.
That is reassuring. Well, I hate to be in a rush, but I really don't see what purpose there is in waiting.
I'm starting to believe that you don't actually hate to be in a rush. I mean, fine, yeah, no, Ted and I mean, I hate to go back to a place that I've broken into immediately afterwards. I think there's an idiom about that.
It's very
it's so gauche.
It is so gauche. Does anyone else
Even
want
if
to go in?
invited?
Or I mean, that would be look. I've fallen for this once before, but that's a prime way to get nicked is to be invited back by the person that you broke into or committed a crime against. And then the police are there and they just go, "That was that they turned there right here. I just told them to come back, and they did." And now
I
you
mean,
can
that's
arrest
not
them.
evidence that we broke in.
No,
though.
I know it's
That
not
we turned-
evidence. Look, I'm not a lawyer.
Just make sure you don't go in via the back entrance again.
And
Make sure
I'm
you're wearing
trying to
different
say,
shoes.
I don't
You
think
want
I've
them to check
ever
your
received.
footprints.
That is a good piece of advice, Mr. Barton. I don't think I've ever received any legal advice from Mr. Price that is as valuable to my defense as that piece of advice that I just got from Mr. Barton. And I will do that before going, because that's a sensible precaution.
If we
Take
swap
heed,
shoes,
Mr.
then
Price.
that'll work.
Yes. What an excellent point.
I would be happy to go in. I would be lying if I said I were not curious as to what she has to say, but I'm equally happy to wait outside with Mr. Price.
I would like to talk to Miss Shafik.
Okay, well, that's great. You two should go.
I think we go
Okay.
then. Yeah, sounds like a plan.
I can lurk around outside, looking menacing. If you don't scratch your, if you don't brush your hair aside every 5 minutes, we'll assume that you've been mesmerized and break in and started shooting.
Oh yeah, but now she knows that you've established that. So when she's mesmerized, she'll already do it. You need to tell
That's
her
a
something she
trick.
doesn't.
I really was going to do it every 4 minutes.
Okay. On the
Anyway,
way,
sorry.
before we leave, I will, having already called Corporal Shane, I will bundle all of my notes at least together, and on the way over, drop them off at like a courier to hand deliver them immediately.
Yeah, same.
Okay. How do I say this without suggesting that you make a roll? Are you performing any anti-surveillance maneuvers?
I think, like Edwin, from the point of knowing that we've, been followed, Edwin is going to be looking to trying to spot anybody following us or watching us. Or Edwin is, yes, probably the paranoia score is creeping up, and Edwin will be actively checking for.
Would you like to make a spot hidden
Sure.
then, Steve?
I fail. 79 over 53.
Okay. That's fine. There's nobody there.
Well, Edwin doesn't believe that.
There's a lot of evidence that that's just factually not true at this point. You could just be there like, well, I've just failed. Yeah, Winifred's too distracted to spot him, and she's thinking about meeting.
I mean, if again, like if you know that there isn't really much point looking.
They'll just wave back at us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's Ted's view. He's like, yeah, they're probably following us. They knew we were in the library, so they,
I'll make a roll. I've got nothing to go. I've already got my check. I've got nothing to gain. But so I think at least some people will be looking around. John's muted, so I'm going to not listen to the objection about that.
It was not an objection. It was an agreement. I was
Okay,
going to say
cool.
I would probably also look around as I hand over my package of letters because I don't want the courier to get nabbed.
I do fail my spot hidden anyway, so don't worry about that.
Spot hidden. Oh my god. That's a 99. Spot hidden 71.
Well, yeah, with sort of three of you checking, there's no way that anybody's.
Look, and you said we weren't competent, Johnny.
So
I didn't say that. That is putting words in my mouth.
He said objectively.
I said objectively there had been some slip-ups. I didn't say you were not competent.
Correlation, causation.
If you weren't competent, they wouldn't be slip-ups, they'd be normality.
At what point do they become normality? How many do they have to be?
How long have we got in
You know
the,
what,
in the
Mike,
episode?
Keep going and I'll tell you when you get there.
You know what I find quite funny about this is we basically prefaced this arc with going to meet the like inspector who was working on this case and saying, "We're expert cult hunters," and then
It's in his report after, or the interrogation after, or whatever, where he goes, "And you just waved and
yeah,
use your real names."
Yeah.
Sorry,
you'd have that in like. You'd have that in like a cut at the end of this when you have like that as we're expert cult hunters, and then a cut to like John waving, and then a cut to like Wilfred and Ted like marching out covered in coal.
Look, if we get to the end of this investigation where Barrington is taking our statements, it means we did all right. So all of
That's a big
those
if,
things
though.
worked out.
As long
That's
as
a
he's
big
taking each of your statements.
Yes. From the same side of the locked cell.
You're all in.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, who? Sorry, I've lost track. Was it Merritt and Ted? Mrs. Farwell and Ted? Who?
Merritt,
Definitely
Mrs.
me and-
Farwell and Ted.
Okay.
Do you have an agreed sign for if something's going wrong? Or is it just screaming and flailing? And
I mean, the shop's busy enough, I think, yeah. A scream or any sort of commotion.
If you want a more subtle sign of danger, Merritt will offer to take his glasses off.
okay. Is the interior of the shop visible? Like we've seen the shop before. Is that something that could we observe? I mean, obviously,
Are you being sort of-
there are some big windows we can definitely observe. I think that
Yeah.
that event.
I mean, unless you dragged off into the back room, then in which case, then we'd know.
Well, then we
something.
would notice that. Hopefully, that's the idea.
Assuming this conversation is being had in the carriage or whatever, I'll say, well, under the assumption that we're already being followed and she already knows where we are, I see little point in keeping yourself scarce. Just don't enter the shop. Keep an eye on from the outside.
And our PI might even be outside with you. That we're paying to keep an eye on the shop. He's going to go.
Yes, you can all
"In his
have a chat
notes,
while we go inside.
I
you
think that's
entered
actually a
the
really
shop."
sensible idea.
Yeah, compare notes.
We can then blow the cover of our PI as well.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So Ted, Mrs. Farwell, and Merritt go to the door of the store. There are 3 other people milling around in there. And you can also see that Zara is having a conversation with one of them, picking up sort of pots and small plants and such. Having some kind of discussion.
Sorry. Can I immediately pause at the entrance to gauge the situation? That it does seem like a regular shopping day. It's not like these people look like they're watching for us. It looks like it's only Zara who's a keeper and everyone else is just an odd person. We don't recognize anyone else in it. I'm trying to kind of just judge the
vibe
situation.
check.
Doesn't seem at all like a trap from here. Yeah,
Nope.
vibe.
Doesn't seem to be. Certainly seems like normal customers. They are separate from each other and don't look like a group that has split apart, if that makes any sense at all.
Okay. Well, I suggest we wait our turn then. And yeah, go to enter the queue.
I mean, they're not queued. They're spread around the shop. So a couple of them are kind of looking at things themselves, and Zara seems to be helping one of them.
I think we'd
Well,
politely
wait for
sort of
Zara.
catch her eye and then wait for her to finish.
Yeah.
Don't need to be rude. She might be a cult leader, but we've got to prove we're better than her.
Exactly.
Okay. You open the door and go in, I assume, and she kind of turns as she hears the door, you can see her eyes kind of move around you and almost, kind of figure out who's there. And she smiles as you enter and says, I'll be with you in a moment.
Smile back.
And she continues helping this lady that she's speaking to.
Is that man that guy who was always with her before? Have we seen him? Have we see him?
Not yet. But so she basically finishes helping this woman, who then continues browsing. And she swings the door that leads through to the back, and says, you hear her say, Edjo, would you kindly come cover the shop for me, please? And she turns to you three and says, perhaps we should discuss this business in my office.
We'll glance back to the window and then follow her, I suppose.
And Edjo comes out of the door just before the four of you, including her, pass through it.
I would like to again vibe check. There is definitely lots of people could jump out at us in this room. It's clearly a trap, sort of. I mean, you can't tell much, can you? But is it just her?
So you go back into it's like a storage room, which obviously Ted recognizes all of this.
I've never been here before in my life. Is it this way? Is it that way? I don't know.
Big footprints on the floor.
And she basically says, she opens a door and says, just down here. And Ted is aware that this goes to the coal cellar. There is light coming from down there. There is a light on of some description.
Okay. I think Ted will make a comment because it's unusual to have an office in a coal cellar anyway. I think that's a fair point of going, is your office downstairs? Because it's a ground floor shop, isn't it?
Yep.
So, yeah, is your office downstairs?
If you excuse our caution, I'm sure you can understand.
I have a large amount of need for storage up here.
There's a notable amount of hesitation from Winifred at the start. Like, it's obvious to Miss Shafik. I don't know about the other two.
I mean, we're in this situation now.
Mm-hmm.
It's true. That's a correct statement.
What are our options? Sort of out of character. Go, I know your office isn't down there because I broke in here. And we're not going down there. And then what? She gets all her goons to come out and force us down there anyway? I don't know.
You do have the ability at any point to say no. Just make that really clear.
Well, this is what I think Winifred is deliberately trying to hesitate in the hope that Miss Shafik might say something. She's trying to make a hesitation obvious. Like, I want to have this meeting. I'll say something, but for a moment, I'm just kind of non-verbally expressing that I want to talk to you, but I don't want to go to that cellar.
She seems quite comfortable with an uncomfortable silence.
Very long, uncomfortable silence for people watching the stream.
Yeah, let's see who's more uncomfortable.
We're going to role play this.
I can't think of anything to say.
Is there anywhere else in the building we might meet?
she's had this kind of very stationary smile as she's kind of opened this door and been standing in front of the doorway with this kind of still smile on her face for the 3 or 4 seconds that there's been a silence before you ask that question. And then her smile kind of turns into what I would call a proper smile versus the slightly forced one that she had a moment before, and said, "You didn't really think my office was in a basement, did you?" And she closes the door and takes you to the room that Ted knows is actually her office.
Follow her into the office.
We've been pranked
but
again.
says,
Ted goes to the basement.
but says, you will, however, have to excuse. There is a bit of a mess. We had, well, perhaps a burglary.
Oh dear.
It's crime rates and awful. Kids these days.
Quite. So, speaking of that, I believe you may have been trying to keep an eye on me.
Yes, I don't think there's any point in hiding that at this point. You've clearly cottoned onto the fact. Otherwise, you
So
wouldn't
we
have sent
could
us that
say
message.
likewise of you.
You'll be relieved to know, I'm sure, Mr. Barton, that I'd already figured it out before your little visit to the club. That did give me a little chuckle. You are in my place of business for the second or perhaps third time. I wonder if you would do me the kindness of telling me what you think is going on at present.
Have you heard of the Brotherhood of the Black Pharaoh?
Yes, and if we are on the record, then it is something that no longer exists.
It's
So we hear.
possible.
And if
Exactly.
you're speaking off the record, theoretically,
then there may be some wiggle room in that description.
And it may be possible that that could be linked with the murders that have been seen across London of late.
That may be possible, yes.
Well, for better and for worse, and I think at this point we should acknowledge that in some cases for worse, we have not perhaps investigated as cleanly as we would have liked. We have been seeking answers as to those murders.
Mm-hmm. And what have you turned up so far?
Well, I guess so far, again, it's pretty obvious that you're a person of interest, and we're trying to, let's be honest, establish if you have any link to the Brotherhood that may or may not have been disbanded centuries ago. And like I said, there's no point lying at this point. Let's get all our cards on the table and see what comes up.
Quite. And it all makes sense.
I suppose we should. And I don't know if this is a preemptive apology and you're going to spring a murderous trap upon us any moment, but assuming that isn't the case, then perhaps we do owe you an apology for yourself being potentially implicated as at the center, or at least involved somewhat in nefarious dealings to do with this. That was, I suppose, quite obviously why we were looking into you without talking to you directly.
As I said, it makes sense. Certainly no grudge from my side.
But given all of that, then, and I don't expect you to just tell us this, given there is probably a fair measure of distrust between us at this point, but there must be in some way in which you are aware of, or I don't quite want to say involved, but it has something to do with you. Correct?
There may be some links between me and the Brotherhood, or may have been.
Given we are not already dead, and instead having a polite conversation with you in your office, are we then to presume that you do not seek the murders to continue, and instead would rather see them end?
Ladies, she says, and the door opens, and 5 women walk in. And they, you've all been given seats, whether or not you've taken them, at the opposite side of the desk to her. If you wanted to remain standing for whatever reason, that's also fine. But they kind of go around to the side of the desk and kneel down, not in like a kind of supplication, but just, you know, comfort kneeling rather than sitting on the floor. And she says, I and these women and a few other people have, including lovely Edjo out there, have managed to escape the grasps of the Brotherhood. The grasp of Edward Gavigan.
Where do we know that name from?
He's
Sorry.
the guy who runs the Penhew Foundation.
And you vanished. Okay. Oh, a visible shock on my face.
She notices and kind of, you see the corner of her mouth kind of curl up a little at your surprise and says, I rather thought you may have got there yourselves already.
I think I will be I'm probably not particularly subtle about it. I will look towards Merrick Barton to see what his reaction is. Because you're the only one who's met. Have you met Gavigan, or
I haven't. I wrote him a letter and I was rejected. But as I may say in a bit of a whisper to Mrs. Farwell, I did suspect when we learnt of his denial of the Brotherhood and his reaction to Jackson that perhaps he may have had more skin in the game than we thought.
Was that, I mean, assuming she would hear that in here, probably, given it's a close, quiet room. So, okay.
Were you attempting to be very quiet? No, okay.
It's semi a stage whisper.
Well,
yeah,
like, given what
this is a private thing that I'm saying. I don't care if you,
but not really. Yeah,
but
given what Merrick just said and her reaction to it, I will say, if you don't know of him already, Jackson Elias is was a close friend of ours who originally, I suppose, taught us all about different kinds of murderous cults and got us involved, for better and for worse. He was murdered, sadly, in New York.
You may have spoken to him last time he was in London.
Yes, we have been aware of. Sorry. They, I suppose, have been aware of Jackson. I'm sorry for the death of your friend.
Thank you. For what it's worth, we had some success in New York.
As you're
Man.
talking, she kind of waves the women out of the room.
We had some success in New York. Did we recognize any of the women, by the way? Was one of them the woman I followed the other night, for example? Back from the house?
I would
Only
like a
one-
roll, but I don't know what it would be. Let me just get a character
Idea?
sheet.
Is it just a spot hidden? Yeah, idea, psychology.
Yeah, either idea or spot hidden. Yeah, yeah.
Can I
That's
do
okay. Spot hidden's good.
an idea roll on same thing, but for who was near the far well
Outside the. Yep. Yeah.
I sorry, I succeed.
Cool.
I also succeed.
Okay. Yes. Different women, but each of them was those that you've said and were in that group. Yeah.
Yeah, no, not surprising, but it is noted. What was I just saying? Yes.
Also, I suppose in a way, it's like if you believe what she's saying, it's maybe nice for you, nice information that it was them that were keeping an eye on you.
That was what I was thinking. Yeah, that it's not actually something to do with the bad guys. We hope these aren't the bad guys. Yeah, I was talking about Jackson Lies, wasn't I? Yes, we believe we had some success with helping the police in New York dismantling a rather horrible cult there who were responsible for Jackson Lies' death. It seemed to be part of a broader picture which led us here, and it seems to another cult. I guess we perhaps naively hoped we could help in this case as well.
Yes. Well, I can. I'm happy to provide you as much information as I have, which of course did not come from me.
Of course. For what it's worth, before we talk any further, we are genuinely sorry for suspecting you of these things. It's difficult to know who to trust and who not to.
As I said from the beginning, it makes sense. No hard feelings. No need for apologies. So, Gavigan, how much do you know about him already? How much do you know about what goes on?
With Garrigan specifically, not much.
Was he give you the cold shoulder, did he?
We thought it wiser to approach him via more adjacent matters and were completely stonewalled, yes.
Please don't take this in a bad way, but he probably thought you boring.
Very happy to be thought boring by someone like that, it sounds like.
Well, yes.
I think we may have had some reason to link, certainly the Brotherhood, to goings on in New York, but I don't think we had any reason to specifically link Gavigan or the Penhew Foundation to them beyond just something else to look at, to investigate at this point.
Although the Penhew Foundation are involved in a concurrent investigation already.
Perhaps linking to expeditions to East Africa, North Africa, East Africa.
And do you know about the events at the Dark of the Moon?
We are aware of the van that stops off outside of the Blue Pyramid Club and then disappears to places unknown.
Mm-hmm. There, she flicks open a like a planner, a small planner book. 10 days I make it until the next event. Would you like a location?
Very much so.
Sure, we'll get into all sorts of trouble, but yes.
Gavigan has a country estate in Essex. Known as Miser House. It's MISR.
And what exactly are they doing there?
They take someone and how much detail would you like?
We have already seen some rather terrible and sometimes hard to believe things in other places, so I don't think you need worry about shocking us or us not believing you.
They have some lesser events every couple of weeks or so. Prayers, chanting, etc. Occasionally a sacrificial offering, usually of some kind of low-ranking enemy. Lower attendance than the larger event. There are numerous things that go on here, but there are new members inducted, chanting and such. And again, further, often more sacrifices than at the lesser rituals, I suppose you would call them.
They take Are these connected with the murders, as far as you're aware? Do they take people and then the bodies are found in London again, or is this entirely separate disappearances?
No, that's typically where they've come from.
So they are returned somehow. Interesting.
So you say the victims are lower ranking members of opponents or other factions.
Yes, people who've got a little close to figuring things out. She kind of looks across the table. Or similar. You're aware, I suppose, of the poor young man who tried to stick up for his girlfriend at the club?
We have heard about that one, yes.
Another example.
I suppose
Do you
I was
know-
wondering if there may be other allies, or at least rival factions, other cults that may be conducting their own ritual sacrifices.
Less that, I'm afraid, and more happenstance for the most part.
But most of the victims were of Egyptian descent somehow. Is that just people who happen to be close to this and looking into it, or is he targeting them for another reason? For some ritualistic reason or something?
Many of the certainly higher ranking cult members are involved in the Egyptian community. Therefore, a lot of their links and people who are closer to them to find out information are also there or thereabouts.
I see. We did. The cult that we ran into previously, they also had ritualistic killings at the full moon, didn't they? I'll look at Ted and Merritt.
Yes. Was it full moon or no moon?
It was to do with the lunar cycles,
I think
wasn't
it was no
It
moon,
was.
wasn't it?
Which is the same as this.
Yes.
Ah, yeah, okay.
Dark of the moon, yep.
It was the same, so I kind of hope but wonder if in fact they are facets of the same thing in some form. I don't suppose you have any further information about what state the victims were in of these killings, do you? Sorry, it's an awful question.
As to what?
Well, what happened to them? What killed them?
The people present take turns with the club. And then finally a spike through the heart.
Let's see. This may sound like an incredibly odd question, but were there any individuals who stood or moved or followed orders and acted after sustaining such horrible injuries that you would presume they should be dead? They didn't speak, they just followed simple orders and actions.
Not that I recall.
Just remembering things from what we've seen before. Okay, thank you.
Where does Mr. Nuisha sit in all of this? In your opinion, is he an active member of the organization or simply unfortunate to own a local drinking hole?
The latter, I'm afraid, for him. He, as anyone who is aware of the Brotherhood probably should, fears them. But he is not a part of them.
That is strangely reassuring to know.
Presumably, members who are suspected to be part of the Brotherhood sometimes attend the club. I remember having noted Mr. Noisha observing certain men nervously in the club. I presume that may have been why.
Seems very likely. Although I'm sure they're not the only troublemakers who occasionally show up there.
Is there anything else that you know about Edward Gavigan, any other associates, or whereabouts he's based in London or anything?
Well, the Penhew Foundation. Otherwise, his Essex estate, as I say. And he also, I think, has an interest in a manufacturing place in Derby, of all spots. But
Is it possibly near Derwent Valley?
it could be. I don't know that area well. Henson, I think, the company name.
Interesting. Do you mind if I ask you about something quite out of left field, perhaps?
Not at all.
Are you familiar with the works of Mr. Miles Shipley?
Some kind of
local
writer?
artist.
Oh. No. Should I be?
Not as far as we know yet. We've been left some rather cryptic clues and we're trying to fit them together. But I'm sure we'll
I
come
see.
to it in time.
Shafik, are we to take your position in all of this more as trying to keep your head low and keep out of it as best you can, or as much as possible seeking whatever events are occurring to come to a stop? We don't want to involve you any further if you wish, but we can, I suppose, given it seems inevitable that our investigations will continue in some form.
You are welcome to come and speak to me here. I don't wish to be personally involved.
Very well. Do you believe that Gavigan or others allegedly in the Brotherhood are actively aware of and seeking you, or you're in danger, or others you know are in danger, or do you think you are under their attention at this point?
At the moment, I don't feel too concerned.
Good.
And what is your impression of Inspector Barrington? I believe he has spoken to you before. Do you have any reason to believe he has close links to Gavigan?
No, I don't think so. I wouldn't be too concerned about involving him if you felt that was the right thing to do.
What would it take to make us not seem boring to Gavigan, I guess? Being ignored us before, what do we have to do to get on his radar? And maybe not quite so obvious as a way that we got on your radar, but, you know, at least maybe look like we could be interested in sacrificing people.
Well, you could show up at his house.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe something not so quiet on the nose. I don't know who would just do something like that.
If you could convince him that you had some kind of Egyptian artifact rare, that could be enough to at least get a face-to-face with him. I'm not sure how it would then go down if you didn't have anything, but
We didn't actually steal anything, did we? This is Jack, not Ted asking.
Turns around and asks.
leans out of the door and shouts out to Wilfred. No.
Well, I'm glad we could sort all this out and talk on better terms. And perhaps, well, certainly, thank you. You have been most helpful. Perhaps we can talk again soon. And hopefully, one day, not too far in the future, see the back of all this horribleness as well.
And if you legitimately need any help with spices, and not just as a way to keep an eye on me, she kind of winks.
Oh yes, I must say that smoked paprika I bought from you the other day was actually rather delicious. I will stand up to leave. I think Winifred is actively looking, having been relatively convinced by all this, actively looking a bit embarrassed as she leaves, a bit unapologetically embarrassed.
Everyone heading out?
Yes.
We haven't got a Columbo. Just one more thing to go, have we? Has anyone got one of them up their sleeves? Just one.
It was you all along, I know it.
You could ask to look in the basement,
Just
but I'm not.
really throw a wrench in Johnny's campaign and just be really convinced it's her.
Okay, you kind of get a look from Edjo again as you head out through the store. He's kind of watching you leave.
You think I will actively mutter sorry, just quietly as I walk past Edjo?
Don't apologise. We've done nothing wrong.
Even if it's not audible, it's written all over Winifred's face.
And you head
Go
out
back
of
out to
the shop into the bright wintry sunshine.
Can I ask what Edwin and Wilfred are doing as we first see them coming back out the shop?
Just keep an eye on things.
Yeah. Edwin will have been studying the area for anybody watching us, or keeping an eye on the store or anything like that. I think he'll be quite stony faced. He's not going to display any.
Are you outside, or are you in our usual stakeout cafe table? Because I think yesterday we found a surveillance spot.
Looking through the window like this.
I mean, probably, given that it's February, probably in the cafe. As long as it has a decent view.
Yeah. I think you may have been outside and then seen them go into the back room and probably went, we may as well go sit in the,
Yeah.
So yeah, you can head over to if you head over to the cafe.
Upon entering the cafe, will immediately ask to use their phone and call Corporal Shane to tell him that everything is fine.
Yeah.
I mean, is it really?
We're alive.
I mean, that is the line you can go to. Yes, I'm not sure.
That's a line you can go to. Oh dear.
Still alive.
Yeah. Go and sit with these two then. I'd probably say that with a sort of like a very relieved expression on my face. Well, we're still alive.
Have you been mesmerized?
I don't think so.
We were, but she
I
told
don't
us earlier.
So
It comes across as a genuine misunderstanding. She certainly knows a lot about this, but she knows about it because she is also, well, investigating and trying to avoid the Brotherhood of the Black Pharaoh. Vaguely looking around to make sure.
And what proof was she able to give you that was the case?
No direct proof, but plenty of evidence that she knew a lot about this.
But wouldn't a cultist know a lot of evidence about?
I'm sure they would. I'm not saying that we trust her blindly, but
she's given us
certainly
another lead. Whether that's her pointing us
a misdirection,
a misdirection remains to be seen, but it's worth following up on. Ideally, I mean, it was something that we were looking at anyway. I've forgotten his name already.
Gavigan.
Oh, Gavigan, sorry.
Edward, she suggested
the head of the Penny Foundation
was at the heart of this and told us about his country house, where apparently they take people in that van that we saw from the club.
She didn't do anything terrible. So
did she explain why the van leaves from the Blue Pyramid Club?
She suggested that it's ritualistic murders, people taken from the city.
Yeah, we got that much.
Involved in a terrible ritual at Gavigan's house in Essex.
Then why does it go in front of her club?
It's not her club.
Her club.
Sure, it isn't her club. That's what they all. That's the first. That's what I would say. I didn't break into that house.
So why do you believe her versus Elisha?
At this point, I don't necessarily think I believe her blindly, but given we walked out of there, given the conversation we just had, I'm inclined to believe her.
She did not exactly paint herself as completely innocent. It seems more that she was a former member of the Brotherhood who seems to have taken her own safety into her own hands.
What evidence do you have for that?
Her own words. What evidence do you think I should have asked for, Mr. Price?
This is why
Signed
I was
statement?
concerned about simply talking to her. She can paint whatever picture she likes. Did you ask for proof?
No.
I don't know what she could have offered, to be honest.
That's not for you to. Perhaps it's just my.
Well, she was
My
very welcome
occupation.
for us to go and ask her more questions. You are.
She did indeed invite us back to talk
Yeah.
again. She's very happy to continue to be involved and to help in any way she can. I think for me, the greatest evidence isn't any words that she said, but the fact that she invited us, we went, and we walked back out with nothing but further potential information. I agree she would have lied, but she could have lied, but it just makes
could have just-
little sense to me.
Not invited us. I think if she is implicated, well,
I don't disagree with that. I think that is a good sign, but I don't
If
know.
you
I
had
mean,
been invited to the basement of Juju House, would you have gone willingly?
I
No.
think that let's just go over everything you heard, and then can we have a thing where we have a download of everything that you heard, so that we can talk about other stuff like Derbyshire.
Yes.
Yeah. So she suggested that her, I think there were 6 women with her, Edjo, and
5
perhaps
women.
others. 5 women who we saw, some of whom we'd seen before, and perhaps others had all escaped this Black Brotherhood somehow, and were now sort of in hiding and sort of in opposition to them. She suggested that Edward Gavigan is at the heart of all of this and the Penhew Foundation, and that the rituals that occur, well, multiple times a month, but substantial rituals of the full moon every month occur when people are taken from London, often from near the Blue Pyramid Club, which, as it sounds like, is a place that they use to find people rather than necessarily being directly involved, although we don't know necessarily, to his country house in Essex, Miser House it's called. Those people are killed or severely wounded and maimed, and then somehow the bodies, I didn't quite understand this, end up in London to be found.
That's not the
He
hardest
also
thing.
has some involvement in manufacturing in Derbyshire, ensign manufacturing. I thought that was very interesting, given the stories we were told about at the beginning of all of this.
We have been wondering how the other 2 articles fit into all this.
She mentioned that without any prompting, so
John,
that
while
was
this
it.
conversation's
reckon-
going on, can you make a language roll for Arabic for me?
Yes.
I
only
reckon
have
if we wanted
20.
to get the opinion, the attention of this Penhew Foundation, I think if I wrote a letter claiming to, well, appearing to have gone stark raving mad after encountering a death cult in New York, that might get their attention.
Maybe
they'll have
might
me.
not be appropriate to get their
Maybe
attention.
they'll,
I
have
agree
me
with
inducted
Mr.
into
Price.
this ceremony.
I would very much rather we don't get their attention for as long as possible, given what we think they might be involved with, and given the very, very fair point that Edwin has, that maybe we shouldn't just trust Miss Shafik without any evidence, although I am compelled by her words, until we find some evidence without outing ourselves that the Penhew Foundation may be involved in nefarious dealings by following them around, by investigating locations connected with them, etc.
well,
We really
I
would
mean,
rather
ideally,
stay
we
under
get-
the radar.
we could get if we get invited to his house, maybe not at a new moon. It's the best way to get into somewhere to investigate is to be invited in,
as we found out.
as we found out. you know, we go under the guise of we have an Egyptian artifact somehow, and arrange a meeting with him, and that's all.
I suppose what I was thinking, I suppose, was if we can find any evidence connecting them before we do that, that would be preferable, because it's perfectly possible that Zara Shafik has entirely misled us successfully, and we really don't want to go doing it again, where we leap upon someone who may not have any involvement, in this case, quite a powerful person, and in our own way accuse them of it by secretly investigating them and sneaking into their house and what have you.
Well, that's why I'm proposing we get invited to the house. Then it turns into a bit of a dud meeting for them, where it turns out our Egyptian artifact is actually a Peruvian artifact and we're just idiots, or something like that.
We do have some good Peruvian artifacts.
Didn't someone also come into the ownership of a Greek artifact? I remember someone showing me something that I could only partially translate.
We have some, but not all, artifacts from Juju House. I know that much. I need to scroll back and find which ones we had. Possibly nothing particularly interesting.
The only things I've got in my possession are Carlisle's books. I don't think any of those were Greek.
One question. If Miss Shafik wanted to stop the murders, why has she not told Inspector Barrington all of this information?
Probably because she's more implicated in it than she's letting on to us, I imagine, maybe.
For her part, she didn't say we shouldn't trust him. But I did get the impression that she doesn't necessarily. I think perhaps because of what Ted suggests.
Or maybe she thinks it's a waste of time, that the Brotherhood is so powerful that all it does is point more of a target to her, and she wants to just stay under the radar and stay safe. But she's happy for us to risk our lives because we just,
And she's staying under the radar by running a spice shop in Soho and visiting the Blue Pyramid Club.
Well, I think she's trying to help others escape from being taken for her part.
I think that may be reading into her motives a bit.
I have an alternate theory, which I'm sure you're not going to enjoy hearing. Perhaps she has. Sorry, my phone is now.
A spirit.
Yes.
Edwin,
tell us,
what are you saying?
He's possessed again.
Not again. Yes. Perhaps she has indeed escaped the Brotherhood of the Black Pharaoh. Perhaps she's set up her own. Perhaps she doesn't want to be under the leadership of Gavigan. Perhaps she wants to usurp him.
In
Just
which
a thought.
case, she seems perfectly happy to throw Gavigan in our path so we can apprehend the one cult and deal with the second cult afterwards.
I admire your optimism in our abilities. We might be being thrown to the wolves.
The one thing I'm confident of at this point is that I don't think Gavigan is entirely innocent or unrelated to all of this. And given that, I definitely don't think that Zara Shafik and him are allies or friends in any way. So I think we can at least start by finding out everything we can about Gavigan and the Penhew Foundation, and, if necessary, return to Zara Shafik not as friends.
Yeah, you're right. There's the wider link with the Penhew Foundation, the Carlisle expedition, anyway. So it's worth investigating, I think, for that angle, and the fact that he's now been implicated. And we didn't mention the Penhew Foundation to Zara Shafik anyway. She offered that information off her own back. So,
But it was common knowledge. We learnt from Barrington that she'd worked for the Penhew Foundation.
Yes, we did. It's true. But it's worth reflecting as well that we were, to be frank, struggling to find out any strong evidence to link Zara Shafik to any obvious cult activities before she sent us that message. I feel like if she was seriously involved in disappearances or murders or a cult, we would have found something out before she got in touch with us.
I mean, she
Perhaps I'm
doesn't
wrong.
know what we found, if anything. When we should have moved on from the cafe at this point, we should be having this discussion somewhere private. With that in mind, she doesn't know whether we found anything in her house. We could be in possession of evidence.
that's true. I mean, she, I think, made it quite clear that she knew we'd been there.
Oh, I have no doubt of that. But, well, would she know which every single drawer you'd looked in?
I would suggest that the fact that she didn't mention it or seem inclined to push the topic suggests that she doesn't think that we have any evidence on her, if there was evidence to find. Anyway, are we all in agreement that, Zara Shafik aside, I think we need to take more of a look at the Penhew Foundation and Edward Gavigan at this point?
I think it's a thread worth pulling, yeah.
It does.
How do you propose to do that? Given
No,
our
that's the next question.
Well, so it depends how overt or sneaky we want to be. We know where he lives, or we know he's got an interest in a business in Derby or Derbyshire, and we know the name of his house, and we can find it in Essex. We either make our way there or off our own back, or we get invited there under the guise of having an artifact for him.
We also, is it 11 days until the next substantial
I think it
ritual
was
is
10,
expected?
wasn't it?
10.
10. So we have until then to investigate further and prepare, I suppose, for that night. If we wanted, we could make it to Derbyshire and back. Or investigate his house at the Penhew Foundation here. I suppose it isn't the worst idea in the world to try to get an invitation to something.
I would very much prefer starting with the with investigations that didn't require us to make ourselves known directly to Mr. Gavigan.
I mean, we don't all have to sign the letter.
I am going to go this afternoon, or the rest of this afternoon, to probably Company's house to find any records I can on this Henson manufacturing.
That does seem sensible.
Mostly to see whether their headquarters are anywhere near Lesser Edale.
Equally, I think we could, now that we know the name of this Misa house, look up property details, ownership, history, that sort of thing.
must say, I do think the name is somewhat on the nose. Miser is Arabic for, well, Egyptian Arabic for Egypt. Not unexpected
quaint.
from the director of an Egyptology foundation.
How quaint. I will investigate whether the family ever do any more public events, galas and such.
And what do you propose we do regarding Inspector Barrington and the knowledge that Ms. Shafik has quite a few details regarding these murders that previously she hasn't revealed?
I think we keep it close to our chest right now. I don't think we need to look. We might not trust her, but she might be a useful ally. If we point the police at her, that's a bridge burnt, and I don't know what evidence that they'll turn up that they haven't already. We tell Inspector Barrington, he questions her, she spins him another yarn. I don't think we need to.
I agree.
I mean, it's clear she's been lying to him.
It's legally
lie
the
to him
correct
again,
decision, but it
and then she'll know that we
provides. Exactly, it's morally the right decision, but it provides no benefit. It only potentially harms our investigations at this stage, unless we have another reason to go to Inspector Barrington. I don't think that will help us.
we burn that bridge, and if she is involved more than she's let on, we potentially lose out on gathering more evidence against her. You know, if she thinks she's helping us, we stumble across something or find something that does implicate her. In the long run, the morally better thing to do is to just keep it to ourselves for now until we're sure whether or not she's involved or how much she's involved.
So if we don't tell the police and a murder occurs in 10 days' time, how would that make you feel?
Depends on what we find
Just
out
a
in the
thought.
meantime, doesn't it?
At this stage, I have no doubt whatsoever that one way or another, telling the police that Zara Shafik has some secrets would have no impact upon that murder. Whether it's because, as I do believe, she is not involved, but even if she is involved, telling the police that she has further secrets will yield nothing to prevent it at this stage, in my opinion.
Exactly. We tell the police and we hit a dead end in 5 days' time because she, doesn't help us whatsoever. I'm not going to feel pretty great about that. Whereas, if we're doing everything we can, I just don't see the advantage of telling the police right now. I don't see what they're going to dig up.
We have either yesterday or the day before pointed Barrington in the direction of Miss Shafik. I feel, apart from anything else, without more concrete proof, pointing him again may just serve to
discredits us
lose
almost
his
if they don't turn anything up.
Yes.
And then if we do have concrete evidence in future or something that we do need to take them, we need them to take us on a little bit of faith with. It's going to be harder if we've been constantly pointing the finger at someone that they can't find any proof on.
I just find it fascinating that, well, for somebody who claims, along with Gavigan, that the Brotherhood had died out hundreds of years ago, and apparently they are both, that was not the case, that the Brotherhood is alive and well, supposedly under Gavigan's direction. I don't believe that Miss Shafik wants these murders to stop. If she wanted them to stop, she could have told Inspector Barrington more. And if she doesn't want the murders to stop, then
having
who
spoken
are we
with
dealing
her,
with?
I understand, and I acknowledge that this may not come across to you, Mr. Price, but I understand why she didn't speak to Mr. Barrington, and yet still wants the murders to stop. I know that may not reassure you at this point, but that's a circumstance that makes sense to me.
Well, I can only hope that in time I come to share your opinion.
That's a good point to leave it.
Quite a nice final line there, isn't it?
Mm.
Thanks, everyone. If anybody has any questions or comments, please put them in the chat. We can discuss them. Links to things are below the stream. Our other streaming places, our social media, our Patreon, and our Discord. And I think we're back on next Monday. There will be an update at some point on the 5-year anniversary video, which is shaping up very nicely. So keep an eye out for that. Best place for all the updates on scheduling and everything is the Discord. So please do come join us there. I think that's everything. Anything worth sharing from the chat, John?
I've been too involved to have been looking.
I mean, I can actually look.
Action session.
It's certainly an interesting episode, I'll say that.
Steve fomenting chaos.
Immediately took over a rack of spices. Just really let her know who's boss.
I like how Steve's characters are always the voice of reasons, but Steve in chat is always just as much of a chaos goblin as everyone
Yes. Oh, yes. That's how I manage it, you
True.
see. I funnel, I split the streams.
I enjoy Max Writer's arrival at 9 p.m. and then just the perpetual trade of things. Extremely horrible decisions. I know it's possible to put some of them up, but they make me chuckle.
So there's one.
Doom.
Yeah, Doom.
Trap them in the queue,
Yeah.
shoot her.
So this one, the shoot her one, I read in the voice of the guy from Jurassic Park at the beginning when it's all going, like the very, very beginning, when it's all going wrong with the raptor in the like cage thing when they're trying to get it out, and somebody's arms in there or something, and when it like fades out at the end, he's just going shoot her, and that's how I read that, and I don't know whether that's how Max Writer meant that to be read.
I think that's about
but
right.
That is how I read that. Yeah. Cool. That was fun.
Those I was really enjoying the moment with John and Jack when those like 5 women walked into the room and we were all like, murder cult of women, or just like other people who escaped. We're really on the like
God.
balance point of like.
That's when I
sort of
started
occurred to me-
blasting. It's like
It did occur to me before it's significant that all of the people following us were women, and yet we thought we were investigating the Brotherhood. And I know that
Yeah.
cults
I
aren't
did talk about that last time.
accurately, but it just tickled something, some
I mean,
kind of.
it was entirely Winifred's reason for trusting her. Like the fact that we'd pretty much seen only women following
Yeah,
her.
agreed,
other than
agreed,
John.
Steve.
I was
Agreed,
like-
Steve. Like, honestly,
No,
like
why?
all
I'm
of.
not saying
all-
crash it. I'm just saying this is why Winifred trusted
Sure.
her.
No,
Sure.
officer, I
Because
used to
women
be in a
support
cult,
women,
but not
Steve.
anymore.
Yeah,
Look,
exactly.
this group is entirely above board. This
No,
group of
like-
people
I'm
who are
sorry.
following
So,
has the resource to.
evil cults, murderous things just tends to be men.
No, officer, it
That's
was this
Winifred's
other
opinion.
guy. Like,
No, officer, I don't know why I have a thorough knowledge of how they kill people sacrificially.
no, officer, don't look over here. There's something in Derbyshire you should be looking at. Like,
Yes, don't
for
worry
at least
about
a
how
week.
I found you
Don't
in
come
the British
back.
Library.
oh my god.
Don't worry about how I've been keeping an eye out on your house, etc., etc.
Don't just you should spend your time go over to Essex, a different county, spend a day or two. This is a guy's house, maybe break in, maybe like like
All over his carpets.
yeah, exactly. Like we get there, there's a sign that says like trespassers will be shot, survivors will be shot again, and we're like this is the easy, like they know we break into places. Like
I've been shot before, or Ted's been shot before. It's
Yeah.
not that bad.
He's not scared of it now.
It's not scared. Whatever doesn't kill
he's
me.
got a taste for being shot.
He's built up
As
an
far as
immunity,
you're
a
concerned,
tolerance.
As far as you're concerned, being shot has a 100% survival rate. Anyone
Exactly.
who says
Yeah.
otherwise is just a wuss.
Perfection.
I just honestly, I mean, I do ultimately think that the Penhu thing is real dodgy, and we should look into the Penhu Foundation because they're clearly what's wrong with the world. Like, no one's saying they're the good guys, but I agree with Steve that nothing that was actually said was of any consequence, or like it's difficult to defend yourself. You can't prove the absent. You can't prove. You can't prove a negative. Thank you, Jonny. But yeah, like these are some great defenses I'll use next time I'm in court.
Cool. Thanks everybody, and as far as I'm aware, we'll catch you next week. Join us on the Discord in case we can.